Good morning and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video is going to be talking about Slaying the Dragon for just $30, along with 59 PDFs of non-Wizards of the Coast TTRPG alternatives. If you've been following this channel or virtually any other channel on YouTube, as well as on Twitter, you're probably aware that Hasbro Wizards of the Coast had tried to initiate a scheme to basically shut down all third-party support, not only for fifth edition, but really shut down the support for the hobby uh, by um, by deauthorizing or an attempt to deauthorize the OGL 1.0A. And basically, through good fortune, those plans were leaked ahead of Wizards of the Coast releasing it on their 1.1 OGL on January 13th. And ever since then, there's been a lot of pushback from the not only across the tabletop RPG hobby, but also from other very large YouTube channels, and even from some financial institutions, news institutions and such. So this was a huge misstep by Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, and you know this this was really playing their cards too soon, and it led to several several movements within the hobby and externally from the hobby of basically saying uh, initially D&D Begone, which meant D&D Beyond, which is the um, which became the face, and the messenger of Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro in trying to navigate through this mess that they created. Um, and a lot of their future goals for the D&D IP and the brand was through D&D Beyond and its virtual tabletop that it's developing, and that virtual tabletop is is really gearing up to really be a video game, and that video game is meant to be subscription based, along with along with microtransactions, which is a hybrid model that we often see in the MMORPG sphere of entertainment gaming. So when Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro, really initiated this plan, they meant to, and I've argued this many times now, they meant to also initiate a scorched earth policy to severely hinder the tabletop role playing hobby from being able to produce anything, let alone anything directly related to supporting fifth edition or Dungeons and Dragons fifth edition, and to leave that player base a barren wasteland with little choice but to move along with Wizards of the Coast to its sixth edition VTT video game profit, unless they just altogether leave the hobby because there's nothing left behind them. What Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast did not anticipate, and perhaps even they didn't care very much of, but I don't think that they truly anticipated the backlash that they would receive. and that backlash went directly at their pocketbook. All right, so the D&D Begone was really directed at D&D Beyond's subscription base, and upwards of 40,000 subscribers, paid subscribers, had canceled their subscriptions. So that was a real scare for them. Um, many YouTube channels with 70,000, 100,000, even 400,000 plus subscribers actively started chanting D&D Begone. Again, a directive at the D&D Beyond aspect or segment of the Hasbro WotC Corporation. Didn't mean Dungeons and Dragons Begone. All right. Contrary to any um, hysterical belief system here. None of us were talking about getting rid of Dungeons and Dragons, the legacy of Dungeons and Dragons, and its game system that many of us have been playing for 40 plus years, still playing the older editions for all of that time. And whether we participated in playing 5e or not is really not the not the issue here. It was because the 5e player base was also extremely hit by this. So let me get to WotC Begone. All right, so this is not directed at Dungeons and Dragons, but it is directed at Wizards of the Coast and what they're looking to do moving forward. So, thanks to Eric Tankar at Tankar's Tavern, I learned of these two humble bundles, and one is by Kobold Press in France, which was the one I took the most interest in. And for $25, I could get 52 PDFs. And I'm going to go through what those PDFs are and why I immediately jumped on it. Then I took a look at the Pathfinder second edition Humble Bundle. And for $5, you'll get, and I'll show you what those entail too. For $5, you will get those 7 PDFs as well. And that's truly a no brainer, even if you have no intention of moving to Pathfinder second edition. But if you are a collector of video games and a historian of video games, or a just someone who reads I'm sorry, not video games, tabletop role-playing games, and if you are if you're someone who just likes to read about different systems and learn how they work, and see what you can pull from other systems into your own gaming, then really $5 for that PDF bundle is a no-brainer. So without further ado, let's get into the two bundles, and I have back these two. So I will be doing a series of videos. I don't know if I'm going to do all 59 videos, but I am going to go through many of the products that I picked up from these two bundles. So I tend not to do videos on adventures because I don't want to spoil those adventures. So it's very hard to do a review of an adventure without spoiling it. But the other materials, I'm certainly going to do videos on. So without further ado, let's jump right to it. And just once again, as you can see down in this bottom lower corner over here, I'm pointing to it right now, you can see that all of my WotC books are now gone. They will not make a return to my shelf because I have no intentions of ever using them. And they will eventually either be given to my niece, who is a new dungeon master for her group. I don't know if her group has been maintained since college is over for her, or whether or not she's going to continue that. Uh, if she doesn't want them, then I am going to most likely put them up on eBay and get rid of my third, fourth, and fifth edition books, which I have all the core books for, and that's it. So they will be gone from my collection sometime within the next couple of months. Let's get to our two bundles. So this is the Kobold Press and Friends bundle, and I'm just going to show you this particular one. Now, I selected at the 25, so you can see you get all 52 of these items at 25. And some of these I'm not even familiar with, right? But this is the Southlands World Book. This is 5e compatible. And again, this is not, the nature of this video is not to be an attack on the 5e player base, because they were the target of Wizards of the Coast plans to leave in a barren wasteland. All right. It is the 5e. Can you imagine a 5e player having to just rely solely on what comes out of Wizards of the Coast, and the crap that they've been producing, these last 5 to 7 books, over a 3-year span of time. No, most of the 5e player base relies on third-party publishers to get the quality of gaming materials that they need. So I am not at all telling the 5e player base that you need to stop 5e, playing it. I'm not telling you to stop buying it. I'm not telling you to stop gaming however you wish to game with, or whatever you wish to game with. All right, but that's my message here, is that it is not D&D Begone. All right, it is Wizards of the Coast Begone. So this is the World Book, Southlands World Book, and some of I'm not familiar at all with some of these. So the Vault of Magic, also for 5e. The Blight. So this is Richard Pett's Crooked City. So I guess this is another world setting. Old School Essentials Advanced Player's Tomb. So I passed up on this. I passed up on this Kickstarter, and so I'm glad to at least get these PDFs of it, so that I can actually start taking a look at it and seeing if it's something that down the road maybe I will purchase. I probably won't. I'm pretty happy with the games that I'm running now. The Book of Ebb and Tides. I have a feeling that this might be an adventure. I'm not quite sure, or maybe it's a supplemental book. All right, now this is my thing, right? Castles and Crusades. So, and this is an adventure. So I am definitely going to take a look at this and probably take various aspects from it. Anytime I do run adventures that are pre-written adventures, I oftentimes just pull portions of it apart and utilize it, in my own way. A lot of times I just use maps and such, but we'll definitely check that out. Empire of the Ghouls, which is a 5e product. Endless Encounters and Dungeons. Now, this might be a supplement that, maybe it's a random dungeon encounters kind of thing. So I'm definitely going to check that out. And that's usable across many, many different places. All right, so this is Akram. This is Luke Gygax's project, which I did back. So I do have this in physical form already, as well as PDF. So I already had this. The Giants Rapture. The Giants Rapture, Castles and Crusades. So another adventure. Definitely jumping on this. This I would have bought for $25 on its own. So Guilds and Orders for Castles and Crusades. So definitely want this. This is the second book of the Centufi, all right, or Centufi by Luke Gygax. As I said, I already have it. So this is the referee's book for Essentials. So glad to have that as well. And maybe I will start doing a deeper dive into that now that I have the two PDFs. Phylactery PX, not sure what that is. Rocket Age, sounds like it's a standalone RPG book. So this is the Player's Guide for Southlands. Awesome. This is a Stains Upon the Green. So this is a Castles and Crusades adventure. The Blight, and this is the GM guide for the Blight. So ahead up over here, we had the Blight, which might be the setting book. And now we have the GM's guide of the Blight. We have the Blight map, or map pack. Pathologies bundle, cool. The complete White Ship campaign. And I'm not sure what system this is for. When I open these things up, I will be able to take a deeper dive into it. I already have the Codex of Erd, which is the official game setting for Castles and Crusades. The Forbidden Caverns of Achaia. So again, when I use modules that I have purchased, I usually take them apart. The Hallowed Ring is also another adventure for Castles and Crusades. The World of the Lost Lands, possibly setting books, and rules, 5th edition rules addendum, I guess making it compatible. Oh, so this is the Frog God. So this might be Swords and Wizardry, and then this is the 5e version of it. World Map Folio for the Lost Lands. Tomb of Blighted Horrors. Warlock Grimoire. Deep in the Dark. Or Into the Dark Deep, Into the Dark Deep up here. And then it says Deep into the Dark. Castles and Crusades, Codex Germania. So I was actually just going to do a video, my next video in this series, because I have all the hardbacks. I was going to, now at least I have the Codex Germania to actually go through and use the PDF for this, because I don't have the PDFs for the rest of the stuff, for the rest of the codex, for the rest of the codexes. Courts of the Shadow Fae, 5e supplement. Basic and expert dungeon modules, it's actually X1.5. Dead Men Tell No Tales. Be pretty cool. Double check that out. Since I'm running AD&D First Edition, it's a lot easier to convert adventures that are built on the D&D base model or the or AD&D itself to convert those. Gangbusters BX, I already have this, and I'm actually running this at my next convention that I attend to. And as a matter of fact, Mark Hunt's expert version of this is released today, or it's available today. So definitely have to jump on that. Then the Blight. A lot of stuff for the Blight here. So I'm going to be really, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, and then the Blight's player guide, system neutral. So how to make it converted over. It seems like it's a horror-based RPG. The Complete Cities of Sorcery campaign. A bestiary, always helpful. AK1, The Brain Gorger's Appetite. I guess it is an adventure. Castle on the Hill, Castles and Crusades, adventure. City of Cats, Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook. Where this is the seventh printing, not edition, seventh printing that you can get for free on their website as well. But it's nice to have it here. Tall Tales by Mark Hunt, who also is the author of the Gangbusters BX and now the Gangbusters Expert or Advanced system, which like I said, I believe is today. Definitely going to jump on that. The Lost Lands World Map. TOB2, The Tomb of Beasts, Layers 2, and Dreadful Bestiary, the Dreaded Accursed, Ultimate Bestiaries for 5e. So this is all that was in the 52 PDFs from Kobold Press and Friends. Now I'm going to take a look and just to show you, nope, that's not it. Here's the Pathfinder bundle. So this is the Pathfinder bundle that I wanted to show off. So $5 for these 7 items, you cannot go wrong. All right. So second edition beginner box. All right. So I am definitely going to do videos for each of these, right? The second edition beginner box, followed by the second edition core rule book, second edition bestiary, the character sheets, the Pathfinder player character pawn collection. So that's like paper cutouts. The Lost Omens World Guide, and a one shot. All right. So we have the core book, bestiary. I'm guessing that the core book combines everything that both players and the game master needs. But again, for $5, you cannot go wrong. Let's see what I have here. So this is just to show you that I have in fact backed what I'm talking about. All right. So I don't go out there and tell you, do something and, spend your money someplace. And I myself haven't done the same. Right. So here you can see my humble bundle collection. This was not part of the recent purchase. So these are the recently updated. That was a game I was given by someone, but here you can see the blight guides and all the way through. And none of these I've downloaded. Life is Feudal is a game I bought a long time ago. So you want to try out Pathfinder. I don't know where I got that from. That might have been part of this bundle. So anyway, there I have all of my items that came in along with this bundle. And then here is my Pathfinder bundle ready to go. And as you can see, it's all set here. All right, so there you have it. 59 alternatives to Wizards of the Coast. So hopefully many of those individuals who are going to remain with 5e, hopefully they can see now that their real hope to be able to continue playing what they're looking to play is not to look at Wizards of the Coast as the one that's going to provide the materials, but to look at third-party creators like you see with Kobold Press and others out there. They also have, options of going to whole different game systems. Kobold Press is creating their own game system. Castles and Crusades has had their own game system since 2004. And so that is another place for them to go to. Or Paizo has put out, several years ago, it's a Pathfinder 2, And although it struggled at the time to really catch on, um, now what Wizards of the Coast, through their, you know, to their self-forced error here, they are they're giving a lot of people the reason to look elsewhere, and so this is a way that you can tell Wizards of the Coast to be gone. And we're not happy with what you're doing with the franchise of the D&D brand, at least where it occupies in the tabletop role-playing space. And I know a lot of people have been putting out these videos and talking about, well, you know, how can Wizards of the Coast rebuild this trust? And I don't think that they can, because they haven't yet acknowledged and taken responsibility for, what their intentions were. All right. And their intentions were pretty darn clear to a majority of us, and yet they still haven't owned up to that. They still haven't owned up to the fact that they lied. And I'm hoping that the tabletop role playing hobby says to Wizards of the Coast that you're no longer welcome in this, in this sphere. You're no longer welcome within this, this aspect of our gaming. And we're not going to buy your products. We're not going to see your movie. We're not going to support your ability in the future to turn around and to say, that we're going to deauthorize the OGL 1.0A, and we're not going to move on to your subscription microtransaction based, tabletop, or virtual tabletop video game, where we can't even dungeon master unless we pay $30 a month, and our players have to pay a monthly fee just to have access to a live DM. I mean, that's just not what Dungeons and Dragons has ever been or was ever intended to be. What was this, you know, a monetary gatekeeping, which I think is just an anathema of what our hobby has always been about. So, you know, this isn't necessarily the hobby pushing Wizards of the Coast out. Wizards of the Coast was looking to abandon the hobby. And so I think that we need to continue to send that clear message of, Wizards of the Coast begone, and move on to uh, game companies and publishers and just gaming in general, in the absence of Wizards of the Coast. I think that's the best thing that we can do moving forward. And you can still play your Dungeons and Dragons. You can still play fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons, or you can still play, um, AD&D first edition, AD&D second edition. Even third edition, fourth edition, if you wish. No one's saying that you can't play the games that you already own. Um, we're just saying that, it's time to send that clear message to Wizards of the Coast that they're no longer welcome, and their products won't be welcome either. And to move forward with these other great companies that are in many cases producing better product, more usable product than Wizards of the Coast have in over the last couple of years, and certainly over the last half dozen or so hardcover books that they've put out. So, without any more belaboring the point, enjoy the rest of your day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't got a chance to jump on these onto these two humble bundles, then absolutely do so. I mean, for $30 to get 59 PDFs is just an unbelievable, unbelievable sale price. I mean, you're getting them at just over 50 cents a piece. It's ridiculous. All right. And, so definitely jump on that. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon. You have a great afternoon and, just keep on rolling those dice, keep on gaming. Take care.